When you were 5 and your birthday came around, it seemed like an age waiting for it. Because as that birthday came around, 20% of your life had passed. When you turned 50 and your birthday arrived, it seemed that it came hot on the heels of the last one. Because only 2% of your life has passed. And there's something within the biological clock of man that addresses this and understands this, although he cannot fully define it and declare it. And it is for this reason that the Scriptures speak always in the now. Read your Bibles and check. Now is the accepted time. Behold, now is the day of salvation. Now is the time to think this out. Now is the time to be reconciled to God. Now is the time to take care of these things. Not tomorrow. Calls us not to live with the regrets of yesterday or with the anxieties of tomorrow, but to face the fact that the future comes in at the rate of 60 seconds a minute. And so it's no surprise that the writer, who has been going up and down the corridors of life to solve the riddle of life itself, should end in this way. Remember your Creator in the days of your youth. Now, when he says remember, he's not calling us to some kind of perfunctory mental exercise, to remember in the way that we tried to remember irregular French verbs when we were at school. Someone said, you need to remember these, and so we wrote them down on a card and we memorized them. They were extraneous to every other part of our lives, but they were important in some little special way, and so we did as we were told. Is that what it means to remember God? To remember that somehow or another there is a concept, there is a notion, there is a something that is largely extraneous to all the rest of our lives? No, not at all. The phraseology which is used here, to remember in this way, is to drop every sense of self-sufficiency and to cast ourselves unreservedly on God as our Creator and Sustainer. Remember your Creator while you have the opportunity. Notice, before the days of trouble come, and the years approach when you will say, I find no pleasure in them. In other words, when the springtime of life is swallowed up by winter, there's a kind of chill here in verse 2 that settles over life. When the rain and the clouds have turned daylight into gloom. Somber picture. Describing for us the winter scene where you long, at least for the sun for a moment or two, to penetrate the clouds. Depicting not only the fading of our physical powers, but also of our mental faculties. It's a picture, if you like, of the general desolation of old age. The general desolation of old age. How terribly strange to be 70, 80, 90, to sit on a park bench like a bookend, to watch the newspaper blowing through the grass, to try and reach for it, at least in your imagination. You're not within 15 feet of it, and you thought you almost had it. It falls on the round toes of the high shoes of the old friends and the old men, lost in their overcoats, waiting for the sunshine, saying to their grandson, I need to get a coat in my size. Grandpa, this coat was your size when we got it. It's not that the coat's getting any bigger, Granddad. It's that you are getting smaller. Remember your Creator while you have the opportunity. Not in a perfunctory mental way, but in a way that gives up my self-dependence and trusts only in God, for the days of trouble come. Better to remember now than to spend eternity with regret.